Capricorn, the goat, is not a goat at all as we know that animal, but part fish and part goat. Its Saturnine rulership, and the fact that it receives the sun at the dawn of each new year, naturally by analogy associates it with the beginning of precessional epochs. It represents the stage in evolution, covering transition from fish through amphibia to the mammalian form. The belligerency of the goat is well known and an apt symbol of the struggle for existence, in which the weak perish unless able to outdistance their foes. This phase of the matter is sometimes expressed in the symbol when drawn as part fish and part antelope. Jacob, in the 49th chapter of Genesis, pronounces blessings upon his children, which symbolize the 12 signs. There he speaks of Naphtali as a hind, let loose, thus a very apt symbol of Capricorn, for when the sun is there at each winter solstice, it is starting a race through the circle of 12 signs, which it must complete in a given time, a year. Sagittarius, when the sun leaves Capricorn by precession, it enters the sign Sagittarius, and this is pictured in the symbolical zodiac as a centaur, part horse and part man. Thus, it shows aptly the fact that we have evolved through the animal stage into the human. The centaur is in the act of drawing his bow, showing that there is something for which the human spirit, on its pilgrimage through matter, is seeking, that it aspires to something that lies beyond it, as a lofty ideal, for the bow points upward to the stars. Scorpio, the sign. Scorpio, which is pictorially represented as a serpent or scorpion, emblems of cunning and subtlety. It is plain from this symbol that the first faculty of the mind evolved by infant humanity was cunning, and we still see that that is a characteristic trait among the lower races, the lower classes, and the lower natures, even among our present-day humanity. Libra. But when the sun enters the sign Libra, the scales, by precession, the balance of reason gives him a new start upon the evolutionary path. Under the care of divine instructors, man had at that time advanced to the point where, because of this new faculty, reason, he could be made fully responsible to nature's laws, and thus reap what he had sown, that he might learn the lesson of life by actual experience, be able to reason out the connection between cause and effect, and in time learn to govern himself so as to progress further upon the path. Virgo, thus under the guidance of the spiritual hierarchies, focused through the signs of Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, and Libra, were his physical, moral, and mental attributes acquired, and he was equipped to commence the spiritual side of his evolution. The germ of this progress is hidden in the celestial Virgin, the sign Virgo, which is the vehicle of the Immaculate Conception, the heavenly mother of Christ, not of one Christ only, but of many. This is one of the most sublime signs of the zodiac and one of the most mystical, so fraught with hidden meaning that its full import cannot be fully understood, save when viewed by the internal light of spiritual illumination. Yearly, at the winter solstice, the Immaculate Madonna is ascendant at midnight, when the newborn sun commences to rise to the task of growing the grain and grape, to save humanity from the cold and famine, which would inevitably result were he to remain in the southern declination. The sun is therefore an apt symbol of the Savior, born to feed his flock on the spiritual bread of life. But, as we must have eyes attuned to light to see the sun, so must the Christ be born within before we can perceive spiritual light. As Angelus Silesius says, though Christ 1,000 times in Bethlehem be born, and not within thyself, thy soul will be forlorn. The cross of Golgotha thou lookest to in vain, unless within thyself it be set up again. Therefore, by the processional passage of the sun through the sign Virgo, the germinal impulse was given towards the birth of Christ within man. The mystic marriage of the lower self to the higher, the Immaculate Conception, and the divine motherhood, which nourishes deep in its bosom, unseen by a scoffing world, the newborn Christ, are actual experiences of a growing number of people. And without the celestial prototype, fructified by the solar procession, this would be an impossibility. Neither has this ideal been realized in such fullness during the past ages as today. The reason of this will appear when we take up the joint consideration of opposite signs of the zodiac.